Alright, when making a candy cane style twist string, you want to start off with your first color and hook it onto your starting hook as if you're making a one colored string as normal. The difference here, you're not going to want to go to the other end of the rig to your end hook. You want to go to a anchor point in the dead center between your first and end hooks. And what this will do is make sure that when you twist your string up and get that candy cane style effect, that when it meets around the axle of the bearing of the yo-yo, you're only going to see one color on each side. If you mismeasure it, you may have one color being like the last like 4 inches of the string. Again, not a big deal, but if you measure it right, it'll work out. And after you do your correct number of passes, you tie it off as normal, and then you go to the other end of the rig, and you're going to start with color 2. And then from here, same thing, you're going to just tie it off as normal and hook it onto your hook and make your way to the middle of your rig. Now here, as you're doing your second color wraps, you want to make sure you pass through the forward and back go of your first color. And every time, otherwise you'll have your loose string and it will make a mess. And if you don't do any of them, you'll have just two strings, and when you take out that middle anchor point, it's just going to fall apart. A tip here is I'm pulling the white to me each time, and that's preventing the white from wrapping around the middle anchor point, and that just avoids some complications later. If you don't do that and it is wrapped around, it's not a big deal. You'll figure it out when you get to that point. And after you do your correct number of wraps, just tie it off at the end point. And here, I like to place in the reduction point when I reduce it anchor afterwards, otherwise it gets in the way when I'm doing my wraps. And then you can just remove the anchor point you used in the middle of the strings. And from here, you're going to just reduce as normal to whatever percentage you want to. The important thing is that the anchor point we put in right before you move the center one, it needs to correspond to your reduction mark, but and that will make sure the strings line up. This can be a little difficult. Just untwist it, and that hook will catch it. If you have a larger hook that you have initially to start with, you may have to twist a little bit more, but then you do your second twist as normal, and there's no reason, if it looked normal to that point, you won't have a candy cane style twist. And then remove it from your anchor point, and there you go. Enjoy.